Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSI DFS Fantasy Football Picks. I'm your host, Megro31. Yeah, we're new to this and been putting out weekly videos. So I'm going to try to do showdown ones when I'm able to. And we actually have two games tonight, which is awesome. Not great matchups. They could be low scoring, but let's look at them. So we're going to start with New Orleans at the Carolina Panthers, 39.5 total. New Orleans favored by 3. So what I did was I have a cash breakdown here, I have a GPP breakdown here, I have a second more upside GPP, contrarian GPP play. I mean, almost all GPPs are contrarian. That's what you're looking for, but something that's a little bit more upside, a little bit more risk. And what I did was that those aren't like phone numbers or anything there. I put the salary range that would be left based on what you pick. So in cash, I think Olave and Carr are going to be the most popular pairing, depending on which one that you want to take as your captain and which one you want to take in the flex. Build both ways. I think the line I like the best had Olave at captain. And then I'm going to run it back with Sanders running back from Carolina, or the kicker Pinheiro. Some cash fill-ins that you could look at would be Jamal Williams with Kamara still suspended. He's going to get at least 3 more weeks there. Kendra Miller, you just have to make sure that he's out. I don't think he's going to eat too much into it, but it just makes Jamal Williams just so much more of a smash play if there's really nobody back behind him. I don't really see like Tony Jones and Prentice or the other ones on the roster really getting too much there. I think he's just going to be the bell cow. But we don't know how Miller's going to affect the situation. So could eat into it a little bit, but I think it's still going to be okay in cash. I think both kickers are definitely in play in cash. Juwan Johnson, the tight end, I like as another pairing for cash. And of course, the quarterback, Bryce Young on the other side to run it back with too in cash is good. For GPPs, I'm going to flip it up and I'm going to have Thomas. I'll probably fade Olave in this line, just because it's going to be different. I think a lot of people are going to go. They were very similar. Like Thomas had, again, when Brees was there, he used to be a volume guy. He used to be like, that was his thing, catch after catch after catch. But he actually showed that you can still get open, and actually Carr was finding him quite well in the last game. So I think we're good there. And then I'm going kind of like a receiver stack here, and I'm going to again fade Olave and just hope he kind of gets shut down. Hope like Thomas and Shaheed are the ones that you're looking for. If you don't want Shaheed, I understand. If you want to throw run it back with Hayden Hurst on the other side for the Panthers, or Thielen, I'm fine with that. I don't think the Panthers D would really coordinate well. If you'd rather have Juwan Johnson in there instead of Shaheed and do like kind of a stack that way, or throw a running back in there, I think there's a lot of different ways you can go. But I think just the Saints defense is the GPP, just how expensive it is. I think Hurst is just, it didn't really have a huge role, but then again, Young was kind of running for his life in the last game. New Orleans defense is decent also, but I think there should be more opportunity here, and he's a decent tight end. And Thielen, I think, could have had more catches, but Young just flat out missed him. So I think there's definitely potential there. So in the more aggressive GPP, I'm going to put Young as my quarterback, as my captain. Then I'm going to take Marshall Jr. if DJ Chark is out, because he played more snaps than anybody. And I think it's just he's a talented young wide receiver. I think it's just a matter of time before Young starts to find him. If Chark's in, I mean, that could really cut his into his production. I don't know if it's Marshall or Mingo or Chenault, which one's going to lose the most if Chark's back. But it still looks like he's highly questionable. So, and we'll have to see. Like Thielen's definitely the number one, but he's up there in age 2. So, he might need some snaps off. So, and if Shark's not there, like Mingo Marshall, I'm really like Marshall. I think he's like only like 1.4, so it's definitely a value here. And then Thielen, so it's kind of a stack there. If you want to put Marshall in a YOLO GPP as your captain, like that opened up. You can play anybody pretty much in any combination. You can stack Young and Thielen. You can stack Lave and Carr. I think you can still get like a running back or another decent player there as your fifth one. It opens up a lot. That's a highly aggressive GPP. Not recommending it, but some of the other punt fill-ins, Miller, because we don't know what his role is, to back up Jamal Williams, especially if you think that New Orleans is just going to get ahead and then they're just going to hand the ball to Miller, just kind of run out the clock as the backup running back. Chuba Hubbard, we saw him get 10 or 11 carries. He's a guy that can catch out of the backfield, so somebody else to consider in the cheap range. Taysom Hill, I was high on him last week. He burnt me, did nothing. He's actually listed as the third tight end, but he's actually technically the third quarterback behind Carr and Jameis Winston, but I still think there's some gadget plays that are going to come out for him. Maybe not week one, maybe it just wasn't the game strip, but he can rush the ball, especially if Miller's not in there. He can catch the ball. He can come in and spell Carr and do some trick plays and quarterbacks. So I'm still going to have at least a couple lines with him in there just because I really want to see him go out there and just kind of break the slate at some point. I might throw him even as captain in like $1 one, just in case. Probably throw my money away, but I should be able to make on all the other lines that I built. I should be able to profit in the night, even with a couple throwaway swing for the fences line I have there. And then I said like Mingo or a Shark. If you want to throw those in a stack too as a punt, if Mingo's definitely much better play without Shark in there. I would not play a Shark if or Mingo if Shark is back. So I think that's pretty much what I got. And as I said in the other videos, if you watched before, I always play a dollar line with a backup quarterback as captain, just in case. It almost worked out in the Jets game. I just didn't have the right pieces with it. It was profitable line, but it wasn't like something that was going to take down a GPP. But, Andy Dalton can come out and actually is a decent backup quarterback, and so is Jameis Winston. So either one, if the starter goes down, especially earlier, like Rodgers went out like after 4 snaps, and if it was a better backup quarterback in a better situation with zero ownership, I think I had Zach Wilson at 0.11. It was like 0.11% ownership. So definitely something to look at there. So give me a second here while I pull up the next slate. Where trying to move my toolbar out of the way so I can see it. Okay, there we go. Slide it over. Okay, so the next game that we have, even lower total, 38.5, Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have a 20.5 total for Cleveland and an 18 for Pittsburgh, a 2.5 favorite for Cleveland. So this one, I think, again, it's going to be a dirty defensive game. I don't think there's going to be a lot of offense. Pittsburgh just has kind of struggled after Ben and really hasn't put it together. I think Kenny Pickett has a lot of talent, and George Pickens is wide receiver, but they lost Deontay Johnson, and Najee Harris just hasn't been the same. Freiermuth is banged up. There's everything to me is just saying Cleveland, Cleveland, Cleveland. So love Chubb as my captain. Watson paired with him there, and the Cleveland D I'm going to play as my core. Gives me 5,500 left to work with. And, especially if the Cleveland D shuts them down and Chubb just runs the ball out and Watson manages the game, we're going to do great. So who to throw in there? Well, if Pittsburgh's behind, Kenny Pickett definitely is one that's a fill in here. I don't have Pickens. I should put Pickens in here also. So just keep in mind that he's definitely one to run it back in cash also. So George Pickens should be in the list. I will fix that. I don't know if I can do it here. Okay. Yeah, so there's options. The other one that's going to be very, very popular based on his role in week one is Jaylen Warren. He just seems to be one that was almost as equal as Najee Harris, but he's only like 3K. So he's very cheap. I think he's very popular. I think people are going to play him a lot in cash games. He could have like 40% ownership. So keep that name in mind. I know a lot of people are probably going to fill in with Najee Harris, but I like Warren. They were almost equal in what I saw with them last week. And I think Warren's definitely, the price difference is huge, and someone that is not going to hurt you too much in your cash. Doesn't need too much to pay off his price tag, basically. If you want to pair someone with Watson in your cash, Elijah Moore or Njoku is there. Amari Cooper is highly questionable for the game, or doubtful. They doubt he's going to play. I mean, if he's in, obviously that these guys don't work, and like he's one, but I think he's going to be limited if he is. So, I still don't think I would play him in cash. I'd still probably lean more in Njoku, and kickers I think are both in play here also for cash. For GPPs, Njoku, I just really like how he's been as a tight end for Baker, for Watson, for everybody. He just is just such a solid guy, good red zone target. So definitely like him, Watson, and then I'm going to throw Warren in here, definitely in the GPP. If you don't feel playing cash, I'm going to throw 3K guy in GPP, and that leaves me 86.33 left. So there's so much I can do with that salary here, and I really liked how these GPP lines came out. So who am I throwing in as fill-ins? You can always throw the cash guys in. Just having Njoku as captain, and just the way I'm building it kind of starts as a GPP. So all the cash fill-in guys are definitely in play here, but Harris, like I don't trust him in cash, but in GPP, if he finds some form, definitely works. Freiermuth, if he's not too banged up, he had got hit in the ribs and came out of the game early after catching a touchdown last game, but he should be okay. People Jones, it's going to probably pick up some of the slack too with Amari Cooper out, probably be the number two. I mean, there's other guys too. There's Marquise Goodwin there also, but I just think People Jones is the veteran guy that is like the most sure-handed for me, that I like the most in that situation. And then Pittsburgh D could definitely be contrarian to play in a GPP, especially if you think it's going to be a very defensive game. You could put the Cleveland D or the Pittsburgh D as your captain, and then just kind of build around that with like running back and kickers, and maybe even leave some salary on the table if you're just going with the game script that it's just going to be a grinded out ugly game, that it's just going to be field goals and rushing yards, and that the passing game is really not going to put it together. And I mean, it does look like there's gonna be a 30% chance of rain there, so it doesn't look like it's gonna be like a rainy, windy, like nasty weather day. But definitely with the totals, I think that's another GPP strategy. But my more aggressive GPP, I'm going to lean more on the Pittsburgh side of it. I'm going to put Pickens, the wide receiver, as my captain, and Pickett as the quarterback, and I'm going to run it back with Elijah Moore, and take it more of like, okay, Vegas is wrong on this. Is going to be more of a shootout. There's going to be more offense, even though most of the NFL games, the first couple of weeks we've seen are like glorified preseason games. There hasn't been much offense in some of them, and have been a little bit more low scoring. So who are some of the punt plays to throw in there? Allen Robinson is going to move up and be the number 2 wide receiver with Dante Johnson out, so he's in play. Kelvin Austin is probably going to be the number 3, so between the two of them, they should definitely pick up. I mean, you have Miles Boykins, you have Gunnar Olszewski and Dez Fitzpatrick. I just don't trust those guys. I haven't heard of them. Maybe Boykins, but I really don't like any of those punt guys. Like, I think they're going to stick to Pickens, Allen Robinson, and Kelvin Austin will probably be a pivot off of Allen Robinson there. And then I like Bryant. He's the backup tight end too. We see Cleveland with a running and two tight end sets, and definitely could in a GPP if you're throwing in for a punt could catch a touchdown in the red zone. And then finally, if Freiermuth is banged up, then you have Darnell Washington and Connor Haywood as the backup tight ends. Haywood actually had more catches and more yardage, even though he's third on the depth chart. Washington is a rookie and somebody that they're looking to hopefully to be a talent to kind of groom for the future. So either way, I mean, they're both like dirt cheap there if you need a last person in, but like just the way the salaries work on this, even with Chubb as a captain, it's not going to eat up enough salary that I think you need to go this low. But if you're trying to differentiate your lineups at 150 max, I mean, these are the players to keep in your pool. And love the Cleveland backup. If something happens to Watson, Dorian Thompson-Robinson looked phenomenal in the preseason. I'm so excited to see him in the future. And I don't know if Watson struggles, he could definitely, or gets injured, like this kid could come out and surpass him and be a very exciting rookie. So if you're playing in like a deep season long fantasy league and you're looking for like a quarterback down the road, or if you have like roster spots like a practice squad or place you can stash players, like he's someone that I think is going to be a huge talent in the future down the road to look at. And then Mitch Trubisky is former Chicago guy, is Pickett's backup. If he gets injured, then I think he can come in and manage the game, and potentially I'm more excited by the Cleveland guy than I am the Pittsburgh backup. But again, I would play both of them in dollar just in case. So that's what I got for you. Again, it's a fun night of football, and I like that the games overlap, so I can switch back and forth. I hated when, especially living on the East Coast, when they do like the double header and like the West Coast game would start at like 10:30 and go to like 2 or 3 in the morning. It was just so hard to stay up and watch it. But should be 2 interesting games. It's cool to have a doubleheader on Monday night, so let's take advantage of it. Let's make some money. If you have any questions, you can put them in the chat below or hit me up at MegaRower31 on Twitter/X. If you want more information on FSI DFS, you can go into the description of the video, and it'll you can sign up for our full package, so you can get into our coaching room, get all our cores and everything like that for football and all the other sports we have. Our prices are very, very reasonable, I promise you. And if this video helps you and you like it and you want to see more, then the more viewership we see, the more I'll continue to do this. If they're complete flops and nobody's watching, then maybe we'll phase it out. But I'm hoping to pick up some momentum. NASCAR started with a couple hundred views, and then after a year or so we're up in the thousands. So hopefully if we continue to do good in football and you continue to enjoy it, and we're bringing you the information that you're looking for, then hopefully we'll continue to make these. So to help us out, again, you watched this far in the video, that was great. Subscribe to our channel so we know when videos like this coming out. Maybe you weren't expecting a showdown one, and maybe you subscribe to the channel, so like, oh wow, now it's my feed, something cool and something useful for you. And then the final thing you can do is share with your friends. So appreciate it. Good luck in your contest tonight. Hope you have an amazing Monday. And I will see you next time.